in the history of Mobile Legends. A new era of MLBB is witnessing is being witnessed right now before our very eyes, guys. This tournament has been absolutely incredible. I mean, the fact that we have a Team Spirit YG Grand Final is just insane. And there's not a single person on earth that would have predicted this. Nobody in their minds had YG making the final. Everybody, bro, YG was not even expected to make the knockouts, right? Team Spirit, everybody knows they were always good. I thought they could potentially lose to Vamos. Then they just destroyed Onic and made the final. Like, today was such an insane day. We're gonna get into that, but let's start off with the first series, guys. Welcome back to another video, guys. It is your boy Tayan. Bro, I am still like just mind blown that we have two teams that I don't want to like. This is not to sound rude or offensive, but teams that were not expected to be there. Teams that nobody really thought they could do it. I'm still surprised that Team Spirit dominated Onic. I'm not surprised that they won. I think people saying that this is like a massive upset. I disagree. I think YG versus Falcons is a massive upset given the context, right? Myanmar, that region hasn't been doing that well internationally for quite some time. But I think Team Spirit, they're always knocking on the door. They're always a threat to go far in internationals. And now they're in a grand final. We're gonna get to Team Spirit versus Onic, but first we have to talk about YG versus Falcons. YG eliminates Falcons, who I thought would win the tournament after Aurora lost to Onic. So they knocked out my title favorites. It's kind of crazy how Aurora, the team that most people thought was gonna win, got knocked out in the first round, and then Falcons didn't even make the final. So this is how you know this tournament, you cannot predict what's going to happen. You literally don't know what's going to happen. It's been such an unpredictable tournament. But I do want to talk about Falcons. And listen, like I don't know how to say this without sounding too reactionary because this literally just happened like an hour ago. But I feel Falcons completely threw this series away. I think Falcons are gonna look back at that game 5 and really just say that we completely fucked this up, guys, and we should have been in the final. I think Falcons should have been the final. I think it should have been a Team Spirit versus Falcons final. Falcons were winning that game 5, and then they decided to overextend on a pick right before Lord. I believe it was the bottom side bush right next to Red Buff. I think Ogwin and Flap Teasy go too far. They both get picked off. And then from there, the game is just over because then YG has Lord pressure. They just can start, reset Lord if anything happens. And they have push in lanes, I believe. Mind you, Falcons had a push in lane. I think Falcons might have actually had in high ground. I'd have to rewatch it because everything is just a blur right now. But Falcons fumbled this game, guys. And that's not to take anything away from YG. YG did their job. They took advantage of the mistake that Falcons made, and they ultimately made them pay for it. And that last team fight was just insane. I mean, that last team fight was so well played from YG, the positioning, the way they angled themselves, Moskov, like everything was crazy, right? Yin was going crazy. YG deserved to win in the end because they didn't throw as badly as Falcons. But man, Falcons, I really do think that they're going to be kicking themselves for quite some time because this was their opportunity, back on the international stage, Team Liquid, your biggest rivals, they don't even make the knockouts. You're kind of expected to really weigh the world of the Philippines, right? To carry that mantle to the final and defend the Filipino title. But they're gone. They'll be facing Onic in the third place matchup, which I'll be doing a prediction later on for that in this video, so stay tuned for that. But man, what a series. This series was absolutely incredible. I mean, I forgot to mention the fact this series is so crazy. I forgot to mention the fact that it was 2-0. I mean, YG were up 2-0, guys. That's another thing. YG were just completely outclassing and dominating Falcons. Falcons threw, guys. Falcons actually threw. They threw in game 2 and then they threw in game 5. So this series could have been like 3-0, 3-1 for Falcons, but they decided to throw. And this has kind of been an ongoing issue with Falcons, even last season, last year, where they made the playoffs barely in MPL, and then they got eliminated by Team Liquid right away. Like they would have leads and then they would just throw it away. So Falcons really need to hone in on making sure they're consistent with their leads because when this team is good, they're really, really good. Um, So yeah, obviously most people are gonna clown on them for losing to YG, but YG are a very good team. I mean, this is a team that has always been there, right? They made top eight at M7 and now they're in the grand final. They deserve to be there. I just didn't expect it. My stock is definitely up. As for my stock for Falcons, I'm not gonna think Falcons are some choker team. They still made the semifinal. They barely lost in the semifinal. They lost 3-2, and they're gonna have a chance for redemption in the third place match. So if they finish third, I still think it'll be an overall really really good tournament. But if you're a Falcons fan, you must be kicking yourself because you threw multiple times in this series and it was still a relatively close series, right? It's not like YG completely dominated. Falcons did win 2 games in a row. You could argue they should have won game 5, but ultimately nobody's really going to remember that because a shoulda, woulda, coulda doesn't matter if you don't get the result. So yeah, Falcons, it's still been a really, really good year. I mean, they finished second in MPL and they're guaranteed to finish fourth or third here. So it's not the end of the world. They're still going to be a favorite going into next season. They might actually be my favorite to win next MPL just because of their track record, but we'll have to see going forward. So yeah, really, really good series. Let's go on to Team Spirit versus Onic, which there's really nothing much to say gameplay wise other than Team Spirit completely dominated and clapped Onic. The first game will say 19 minutes, but that game was completely controlled from Team Spirit. Team Spirit, the only times Onic had leads was when Team Spirit was making mistakes. In game 3, for example, at the beginning of the game, they randomly just kept dying. They were just chain feeding. They were all dying. It was like 6-1 at one point, and then Team Spirit brought it back. And to me, that just goes to show that this team, you're gonna have to bury them. You're gonna have to be super, super clinical versus them because if you give this team an inch, if you give this team somewhat of a team fighting chance, they will just straight up outplay you. I mean, the way that they were just toying with Onic, it was that Harley game. Which game was that? Yeah, that was the game one, I believe. They were just getting destroyed. It was bad. It was really, really bad how they were dominated on it. And, you know, Team Spirit is insane. But I just want to talk about Onic. What the hell happened? I mean, you're telling me that you go from beating Aurora and you can't even win a single game? Now, granted, Team Spirit is insanely good, but I refuse to believe Team Spirit is on such a different level. They're You're pretty much saying that they're in a different universe compared to Onic, to the point where Onic can't even win a single game. I mean, Onic were getting destroyed every 50-50. It just felt like it was destined for Onic to lose. That game 3, Onic did just throw. They threw. They just gave T Spirit too many angles. They were overextending. Keyboy was overextending a lot. Kyrie didn't have a good series. Kelra was doing everything he could, man. Everything he could. Game 3 Harith, he was trying everything. I remember that team fight near the purple buff. He was doing everything he could to keep this team's hopes alive. And ultimately, he just couldn't do anything because the enemy team was just too ahead, and Harith needs way more time to scale. But I just think that this I mean, the fact that Onic and Falcons both lost is crazy. I thought that maybe, okay, one of them could lose, but both of them losing in the fashions that they did was just crazy. YG being up 2-0 against Falcons, Falcons choking it in game 5, and then Onic just getting completely destroyed. At least Falcons put up a fight. Onic didn't put up a fight at all. Um, Either way, we're guaranteed now. Falcons versus Onic, a rematch of the M5 Grand Final rematch. That's gonna be insane. Um, I'm really glad, side note, that they're doing the third place match and the final on the same day because a lot of tournaments will have them in separate days. I think that's very, very stupid, especially if you're an esport. You should just have the third place match on the same day as the grand final because that'll build more hype. Can you imagine Falcons versus Onic goes all the way to game 7 or game 5? I don't know if it's best of 7. It should be best of 7 just because that'll make things more hype for the grand final. Can you imagine a 3-3 Kyrie versus Kyle game 7, like retry battle off to determine who wins the third place medal, and then we transition into the grand final? Like, it's gonna be absolutely insane. But before I end the video off, I have to say who I think is gonna win tomorrow, real quick. For the third place match, guys, I think Falcons will win it. I mean, Falcons showed more fight. I think Onic probably are mentally devastated. I think Falcons will win 3-2. or 4-3. If it's a best of seven or best of five, it doesn't matter. I think Falcons will win, but barely. I wouldn't be surprised if Onic won. Onic might actually want it more than Falcons because of pride, I guess, because Onic Indonesia haven't performed well internationally. When was the last time since I guess last year? At M7, they had kind of a mid tournament. Last year, they also finished fourth. They actually lost in the third place match. So I think they'll lose back to back third place matches against another Filipino team because last year it was Onic Philippines. But yeah, I think that's what's gonna happen, guys. And then for the grand finals, YG versus Team Spirit. I think, bro, my heart is saying Team Spirit, right? But for some reason, guys, I just think YG is on a Cinderella story. They're on genuinely an incredible story. But I think they actually should have lost to Falcons, guys. I think Falcons should be in the grand final. Um, but I'm gonna go Team Spirit. I think Team Spirit will win 4-2. I think it'll be an insanely good series. It'll be very, very close. YG will win some games. They're too good to not win one game or two. I think it'll be 4-2. Most people want Team Spirit to win. I think that would be really, really cool. But it would be even cooler if YG wins. Either way, we're completely blessed because we have two teams that weren't expected, two teams nobody thought could actually pull it off, are here in the grand final. So congrats to both YG and Team Spirit. They both deserve it. This is not a fluke. A lot of people, for some reason, think when teams that are not expected by the masses to win the whole thing, it suddenly is a fluke. I remember when Rora won M7, people were saying that's a fluke. Like, that's something that will never happen again. You're a dumbass. You do not understand Mobile Legends because this is the highest level of competition that there is all year. Internationals are where we see the highest level of competition because all the top teams are there. So nothing is guaranteed, guys. Everything is earned. So congrats to YG and Team Spirit, the two best teams in the world. I think it'll be a crazy final, but I do think Team Spirit will win their first ever international and make history. No matter who wins tomorrow, history will be made. Same thing in the third place match. That's a generational rivalry, guys. That's a rivalry that goes back years back. So Onic versus Falcons will be insane. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe. Let me know down in the comment section below who do you guys got winning these games. And I'll catch you guys tomorrow for the recap of MSC 2026.